Let's make a chicken and dressing quick recipe. I have my chicken in my pan and I have three breast on one side and the dark meat on the other. And we are going to make a sauce to go over this using half of a 1 pound sour cream. I'm stirring that up just a little bit because I just opened this yesterday, but it tends to get a little liquid on the top, so I mixed it up and I put about half of that container in a bowl. And this is going to make the sauce that's going to go over the chicken. And I'm showing now that it's a 24 ounce, I believe. Yes, 1 pound, 8 ounces. Any brand is fine. I'm going to use 1 can of cream of celery. You can use cream of mushroom, you can use cream of chicken, whichever you prefer. I just decided to use the celery because when I make dressing, I like to have sauteed celery and onions in my dressing, but I am using up stuff that's been in the pantry. Now I am using an onion soup mix. You can use French onion soup mix, whichever dry powder packet you have. And then I'm going to mix those three ingredients together. And that's what we are going to top over this chicken after I season with salt and pepper. Now you can season your chicken whatever you want, and you don't have to use any. I am using salt, which I keep my salt in a mason jar, and I cut the top of the salt box to put in the ring of my mason jar, and using black pepper. And the men in my house love salt and pepper, and a lot of it. Now I'll just give that one last good stir. And then we will go ahead and top this. And again, I have thighs and 2 chicken legs on one side for my dad, who prefers the dark meat, and my husband prefers the white meat. And I did take one of the breasts that was really big and thick, and I sliced it in half to make it thinner to be able to cook thoroughly in the 1.5 hours that I bake this in the oven at 350 for an hour and a half is what I did mine. So now I'm going to spread this out, and the container that I'm using here is a Tupperware container that I got years ago when I used to sell Tupperware, and this is oven safe to bake in. It does have a lid that you see off to the left of me, but I did not cook this with the lid. So now I'm going to mix, and this bowl is Tupperware as well. Back then it was Halloween time. This stovetop chicken expired in April of 2022. My husband said he didn't care, use it anyway. My husband buys these box things, and I have never used stovetop stuffing before. I like to make my own, but I figured, well, I better use these or throw them away. He did not want me to throw them away. So now I'm mixing some chicken broth. We do keep these containers of chicken broth on hand because my dad likes to cook, and he's 82 and lives with us, and he likes to make it simple. I like to mix mine. I like to keep the powdered type on hand that you put a teaspoon in a cup of water. So we will use this up as well. And this one I'm mixing will go on the chicken breast side. And the other box I have is called cornbread stovetop dressing. And that will go on the dark side. So I'm going to set that one aside and let it soak up that broth. And now I'm going to mix the part for Dad's side. So I use chicken flavor on my husband's side, using cornbread stovetop on my dad's side. This box showed to expire December of 22, and they still were very nice and crunchy. I'm adding sage to my dad's. He loves his dressing to be very strong in sage and poultry seasoning. So that's why I'm adding sage to his. And believe it or not, he still said he couldn't really tell that it had the added in there. So some more chicken broth on this one. Mix that up. This is really simple. And what I did is I went and got the chicken out and put it in a bowl of water to thaw it out this morning at 8:30 or so. And I told my husband what I was going to do, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so hungry right now." I said, "Well, you're just going to have to wait till lunch because this is going to take a little time." So now I'm mixing up my husband's side again. And now we're going to, this is the chicken one. It's going to go on the breast side. 1/2. Now we're going to stir up Dad's side one more time, and then I decided that now his is the cornbread flavor with the extra sage, and that's going on the dark meat side. And then I decided, you know what, let me just go ahead and add some more of that chicken broth and finish this carton off, which wasn't much left. And starting out, that was only a half a carton to start with because I'd already used half of that carton on something else. And so, and I cleaned out my refrigerator, so that's getting rid of one more thing out of the refrigerator. And now we're just going to add that. And that bowl I'm using right there is an antique white bowl that a gentleman gave me at an antique store when we bought another piece of furniture from him. And I was going to get that bowl, and he said, "You just take that bowl." And I've had that all this for 13 years. I've had it, not chipped it or anything. Now I'm going to add a whole stick of butter, slice it into little slices, and put that all over the top of that dressing, which also helps it to make it a nice golden brown over the top. And I probably should have left this butter in the refrigerator. I like to keep my butter out. As you can see, my Rae Dunn butter spread there. I keep 2 sticks in there typically. I like my butter to stay room temperature, and my aunt always had butter on the table. It was never put in the refrigerator, and it probably would have made it a little bit easier to slice. I could have pre-done that ahead of time and then just placed them all over the top. But you do whatever works for you. This worked okay, but it would have not stuck to my finger as easy if I would have left it cold to slice it. And again, this will go in the oven, which was preheating while I was getting all this ready, at 350 for an hour and a half. And I just watched it from an hour on to an hour and a half. I just kept watching it with the light on the oven to make sure that it wasn't getting too brown on the top. And you know, some of my chicken recipes I keep on for 2 hours. So, you know, you just may have to put the top on it if it's getting too brown. And there's my toothpick that I stuck on Dad's side just to make sure. And here it is completed. And it was a very delicious